Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is. I'm going to give you the top 10 things you need to know in cybersecurity this week. This is Chase Cunningham, Dr. Zero Trust, reporting for Cybersecurity HQ. So let's get moving here. As always, there's lots of other things, but these are the top 10 that I think you need to know. So, number one, U.S. Air Force details their years-long plan for ZT. The thing you should take away from that is they said years-long plan. And of course, it wouldn't be a call without dogs barking because that's just how life is. But anyway, their rollout here says that they're not going to get towards a state of definable zero trust according to DoD guidelines until 2027. It's 2023. They got their money starting in 2022. There's more money coming now. What we should take away from that is that if the government can get to ZT in about a 5-year stretch, especially just one large agency, most enterprises can get to some semblance of zero trust in about that time. Now, they have infinite resources and infinite capability, and if they need more money, they just print it. But know that your organization has an ability to get towards zero trust if you plot, plan, scheme. And the last thing that you should take away from this article is that they say that this will never end. They're not going to get there and stop. They say that this is continual. That is literally what they talk about in this publication. So it's a good one. The SEC cyber rules went into effect on September 5th. Today is September 6th. The SEC's rules are now in effect. And what should concern folks is SEC cyber rules go into effect, raising stakes for CFOs. This article is in CFO Dive. Cybersecurity risk management has been a growing headache for CFOs in recent years. Now the Security Exchange Commission is raising the stakes with new cybersecurity rules that expose corporate leaders, including finance chiefs, not just CISOs, to increase personal liability risk. You should know this. If you're a leadership position, you should know this. Yes. So CFOs need to gain an understanding or a better understanding of cybersecurity risk and potential implications to the company, is what one expert said. And here, the alternative puts the company at risk of finding themselves on the other side of the SEC or a breach of fiduciary duty, which is related to a material cyber incident. You have 96 hours from the identification of a cybersecurity incident, a material one, to report that to the SEC. Honestly, I think this is comically goofy that they put this thing in place, and the fact that they voted for it 3-2 means that they really don't understand how cyber works. However, it's in place, and if there's any one organization other than the IRS you don't want to deal with, it's the SEC. So know this, go figure it out, and make sure that you're not going to wind up standing in front of those folks. There's an article in Enterprise Security Magazine about achieving max security with zero trust. Essentially, what this really talks about is the adoption of ZT. It's a pretty solid article. They talk about the use of different technologies to enable zero trust. Really, UEBA is one that they hit on. And I personally think that UEBA makes a lot of sense because I need to know what users are doing. And that's the way that I define an anomaly, is if I have a baseline understanding. So I would look at that one as well. 60% of hacks are attributed to easily addressable issues. And this article came out in Business Wire. This is AppViewX that published some of their research. 60% of all data breaches attributed to avoidable digital certificate related management issues, according to an independent study. Now, of course, you should always take an independent thing as a little bit of vendor slang, but 58% of organizations suffered a data breach attributed the cause to avoidable certificate management related issues. 52% of organizations suffered a service or application outage attributed to certificate stuff. 57% of this organization incurred cost upwards of $100,000 per outage. Outages are expensive. So this is interesting data. Certificate stuff is definitely applicable in the context of security. However, when you read these things and it says an independent deal, and then the vendor says, oh, by the way, we offer these solutions, just kind of know that they're wagging the dog a bit there, but it's still valuable data. There's an article in the Hacker News, which is very interesting, just on the sort of proliferation. And this was published by BlackBerry. It's statistical data, Global Threat Intelligence Report. And this is the last 90 days. BlackBerry's AI-powered whatever endpoint protection solution detected and blocked a total of 1.6 million malware-based attacks targeting customers. Total number of malware was about 1.6 million. This is over 90 days, so do the math. Number of unique attacks, 200,000, using previously undetected malware. Now, again, signature-based stuff or AI and whatever, if you change one thing in it, you can throw the signature off. So just know that it could be new, but it's literally an asterisk where there used to be a period. Average number of cyber attacks per day was 17,280. Per hour was 720. Per minute was 12. And new malware variants per minute was about 1.5. The most targeted industries were obviously finance. Second was healthcare. And third was food supply, which is concerning. So good stuff from BlackBerry. Again, it's one of those things where the vendor says they've got research, and then they say, oh, by the way, we sell the solution. So go look at that and discern what you want from it. But it's valuable information. Peripherals, BYOD, zero trust plans, those types of things. This is a good article. It's in Cybersecurity News, but really the crux of it is BYOD is here to stay. There's no reason necessarily for an organization to spend their money to buy people laptops and things like that. And why does someone in HR or finance need a powerful machine that would only be good for someone in dev? So use these approaches and validate that your security solutions scale to that type of thing. I personally think most organizations could work with people using Windows Surface machines, very dialed down ones, and Chromebooks. That's just my personal opinion. If you do things right, I kind of know that I'm right. There's an article in IT Pro today about not buying more. It talks about how to deal with budget cuts, which everyone is concerned with nowadays. And it talks about making the case, explaining the technical issues in business terms, estimating the cost of inaction. This is very interesting. Estimate how many clients will be lost and how much reputational damage your X company might incur. People often want to look at cybersecurity as a cost center, but it is a competitive differentiator. It is a revenue source if done correctly, and branding opportunity when people know you're protecting their data better than their competitors. Use leverage, highlight regulatory hazards, because everyone always rolls in and it talks specifically about the FTC and the SEC stuff. So there you go. And then start that discussion ASAP. So really good article on IT Pro today. This is how to get budget for cyber. And honestly, if you're out there and you're listening to this, you shouldn't be cutting budget for cybersecurity. Optimize, realign, those things, but don't go gutting your cybersecurity budget because things are tight right now. It's not a good idea. The bad guys don't cut their budgets. Hospitals and patient care are affected by cybersecurity controls. This article is in healthcare and finance. There's a role of cybersecurity in patient safety and care. And this is interesting for anyone in the healthcare because a lot of times cyber is seen as this kind of orthogonal thing that is business and IT. But when you're taking care of patients, you would better be able to deliver good cybersecurity for a whole lot of reasons, including HIPAA and high trust and those violations as well. So totally worth your time to read this one there. The UK election system failed a bunch of cybersecurity measures. This is more interesting if you live in the UK, obviously. However, it doesn't bode well for the US. UK Electoral Commission failed cybersecurity test amid data breach. If they fail, what do you think we're going to do? A whistleblower revealed to the BBC the commission, which the Electoral Commission received an automatic failure during a cyber essentials audit. And that's the takeaway, is that it's not that this was a crazy, amazing, super red team, whatever. It was an essentials audit and they failed. I would wager that if you went and ran the same stuff at our election system, you would find a lot of failures. So it doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy about the future of the electoral system in the US. And then there's the last article on this was in WDTN News, but this is a local election, and it talks about how states in the U.S. are going to be getting additional requirements from the government on how they do state and local election security. The point of it is they don't have the money for that. So when you're a state or local and you're trying to secure your systems and electoral stuff comes up from the federal government, and you've got an issue with, I don't know, water or power or any of the other really essential basic services people need, what do you think gets put on the sidelines? This is just more throwing stuff at the problem and hoping that people roll over to it. And they're not going to be able to do it right because you don't have the money for it or talent or resources or whatever. Not a knock on them. It's just an honest opinion. Anyway, that's the stuff I got for you this week on Cybersecurity HQ. That's my top 10. We'll throw in some other links in here that are of value to you. And if you've got time, go post a review on G2 for cybersecurity software. You can get a $10 Amazon gift card that could be used for maybe buying like half of one coffee because it's that expensive. Anyway, as always, stay smart, stay safe, stay secure, and I'll catch you on the next one.